Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Hands Across the Water, the multi-generational, cross-continental Beatles-related podcast. My friend Beatley Tone. Hello,
Hi,
Tone.
hi, Andy.
And we might be joined by Hot Take Hand on the Run. We're not sure. He's a busy guy. He's in New York City hustling and bustling and doing his thing. So he might join us for this. He might not. But we wanted to jump to the punch and talk about what everybody in the Beatles community is talking about today, and that is the announcement of the fall release of Power to the People, which is now going to be coming out on October 10th to celebrate what would have been John Lennon's 85th birthday. So a lot of comments, a lot of people not happy, but it's got some good content, and a lot of people have done some videos today, and Tony and I were talking before we went on the air that we kind of feel a little bit of a mixed bag. We're excited to get some new material that's live and unreleased, but we kind of feel a little bit this way, that way about it, right, Tone?
Yeah, very much so. And I mean, I knew that this box was coming, but when I heard that it was coming, I was quite surprised because with all the other remixes that they've done so far, there's always been like a couple of year gap in between them. We had the, Imagine in 2018, Give Me Some Truth 2020, the Plastic Ono Band 2021, and then 2024, wasn't it? Mind Games, or was Plastic Ono Band 2022? I can't remember.
No, so the longest gap was between Plastic Ono Band and Mind Games. We could, you got a lot very quickly out of the gate between 18 and 20 and 21 with Imagine, Give Me Some Truth, and Plastic Ono Band. Then you had a 3-year gap, and then because they obviously took, Sean and the team took a long time to put, the cube together, which I dusted off today. So now here we are a year later. So maybe just Mind Games was the outlier because it was so big and so comprehensive, right? Yeah. And now they've kind of got back to, a similar release pattern too. So now, the people wanted this in 2022. In actual fact, Sean tweeted in 2022 that this was going to be coming out.
There was a website. There was a web page within johnlennon.com that said sometime in New York City, Ultimate Mixes coming June 2022.
Yeah,
and that was at the start of 2022, and then it just disappeared. It just disappeared because I remember doing a video about it at the time. And this is different though. This is different to the Ultimate Mixes that we've had so far because they've had a format. You get a remix of the album. You get the rough studio mixes, you get the outtakes, the element mixes, the evolution mixes, and the demos. That was the kind of format that they've stuck with throughout this. Now this is different. This is a box about a year. I feel it's not about sometime in New York City. It's not really it's not solely about the one-to-one concert. They've kind of combined the two, and some of those, no pun intended, but some of those elements that they've used in the other boxes, which I have to say, I feel is like the benchmark for, box sets that, that all box sets should be judged against, are missing from this. So we'll come to the missing track in a minute, but there's no rough mixes.
No,
there's no outtakes. So it's different. It's different.
They basically rebranded this entire period and called it Power to the People to slip sometime in New York City in there.
Yeah.
Give the fans, the ultimate mixes of most of that original album, but not all of it. So I think, as you said, Andrew Dixon said, damned if you do, damned if you didn't. And I agree with that because that was going to happen and we might as well get to it. For the record, I'm going to go on record and think that this track will be included in there somehow, slipped in very quietly as a hidden track. That's my feeling. I know that Sean probably wants that, but maybe he was overruled to not actually put it physically on the box. But I can't think that Sean Lennon would let a piece of music of his father's get canceled.
Lost.
I can't see that happening. I cannot see that happening.
I'm wondering whether their hands were tied by UMG. I mean, people are very quick to blame Sean, but
No.
I think that I don't know how, but I think we need to find out the reason. Well, we kind of know the reason, but who put their foot down and said no, that's not being included before we start apportioning blame, I think.
And we've talked about this on episodes, and this is why I really hope the hand pops on, because lyrical meaning and from which the period it was written and context with that is really required when you're looking at this stuff. I remember Kyle had an issue with You Can't Do That because he thought that like the lyrics were very much John being jealous. But that's Kyle's take because he's 27. But that wasn't the meaning at the time, 60 years ago when it came out. The same thing is applied to this. It was the early 70s, feminism, women's rights. This was all the rage, right? So, Tony, you were a young lad back then. I wasn't born then, but we're both well-schooled enough to know that this is the period where this came about. And it was fine for many releases up and including 2015 when it was included again on the Lennon box, the Lennon, the 2010 box that came out on vinyl in 2015. They slipped sometime in New York City, no problem in there. I just think that it's doing John Lennon's memory a disservice because warts and all, this is who he was. Now, in his lifetime, did he come to realize that sometime in New York City was a mistake? He did. One of his last interviews, he talks about it, saying, you know what, it was a mistake. We did that record. We shouldn't have done that. So that's said by the man himself, right? But, he's not here. And if you're trying to preserve what he created, you're just kind of whitewashing it. And it's a shame.
Yeah. I think that, the track that we're talking about, I feel that with a lot of that album, was very misguided. He was being led astray, I think, in his political thinking by Jerry Rubin, Abbie Hoffman, yeah, and on some of those tracks, because this is not the only controversial track on this album.
No,
right? You've got two songs about the troubles in Northern Ireland where he's basically kind of backing the IRA.
Yeah.
Which is controversial. He's got another one about prison riots where he's saying free the prisoners and kill the judges and all this sort of stuff. This is not the only controversial song on this album yet. This is the one that has got that word in it.
Sure.
And I've watched a couple of videos today, and I've included my own. And I didn't use that word in the video, but I'm not happy about it. Other people didn't use the word in their video, and they're not happy about it. Yet they're not using the word. And if they're not using the word, then they understand the reason why it's not been included.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You can't have your cake and eat it. It's one way or the other.
Yeah, but Tony, this is 2025, and we we say that word, our video is going to get taken down in 2 seconds.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know that for a fact, but
we know certain characters that are openly racist in their YouTube videos, yet they don't get taken down. And the thing about this song is it's not racist. It's not being used in a racist way. It's being used as an analogy.
And I just think that it's so. First of all, this was not a high watermark in John Lennon's solo career.
No,
everybody knows that, right? It's not an Imagine. It's not a Plastic Ono Band. It's not a Walls and Bridges. Hell, it's not even a Mind Games, right?
No.
It's one that he distanced himself from. So you're trying to put. I don't know. I don't believe this, but some might say that you're trying to put a dress on a pig, to doll this album up a little bit. And how do you do that? You take that out and. You add some great live material, and you add the way of that they're showing the tracks on this, especially the Evolution tracks. So they're trying to just rebrand the whole thing and say, look, this was 1972 for John and Yoko. They were very politically active. They got involved with things. They gave concerts. They went to Ann Arbor. They went to Harlem. They did all this stuff. Here it is in this nice package, and that'll put a bow on from the Lennon team on this 1972 year of activism, which I got to be honest with you, I feel like it's been a little milked to death. We had Daytime Revolution. Like, I feel like all the Lennon content, Mind Games aside, this period, and now you've got 1-to-1, and now the concert's going to come out next year. So like this period has been kind of milked to death, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But the concert is important.
Absolutely,
historically important, and it's great that it's got a remix because it was recorded really badly back in 1972. And we've seen, in the 1-to-1 film how good the soundtrack sounds, and also on the EP that they released for Record Store Day. This is going to sound fantastic, and I'm hoping that this album is, it's probably his worst album. It's probably his weakest album. But when you hear it with, in a remixed format with improved sound, I think it's gonna elevate it a little bit, just in the same way as that remix did for Mind Games. That's how I think it's gonna play out.
I know our buddy Joe Mayo is a big fan of Sometime in New York City, and he's pretty vocal about it on his channel. He made 3 videos today talking about it. But let's get down to the nuts and bolts of what actually is included in this set. As the campaign got launched today, very descriptive press release that went out there. Of course, you've got the deluxe box, which is available for retail for $239 US. What is it going for in England, Tony?
170. 170 pounds. Yeah.
And that's for the box. That's for the deluxe box, which is available right here. 9 CDs, 3 Blu-rays, 204-page hardback book, a poster, postcards, stickers, replica tickets, backstage and after show passes. And then you see here all the other different formats that are here. You've got a 4 LP box on 180 gram audiophile black vinyl, a 2 LP transparent green vinyl, and then just a standard 2 audiophile black. The Super Deluxe box set includes 92 bonus tracks, including what they're calling it now, New York City, a reimagined and newly remixed version of their 1972 politically charged album, Sometime in New York City, plus unreleased tracks including demos, outtakes, home recordings, studio jam sessions, evolution mixes, and additional live performances, and more. Okay, set includes the historic 1-to-1 concerts. You've got the live jam, which was included on the original version of Sometime in New York City. I love this quote here. The Madison Square Garden gig was the best music I enjoyed playing since the Cavern or even Hamburg, John Lennon told Alan Carr of the NME in 1972.
It's probably the first time he could hear himself with fold-back monitors since then.
That's actually a great point. He probably could have. Think about it. Probably didn't hear himself on stage in Toronto and everything else. He probably didn't hear anything.
Yeah. I mean, he probably could hear himself in Toronto, but that wasn't really a full gig, was it? It was, it's 7 songs, isn't it? Is it 7 songs or 8 songs? 8 songs, maybe. Oh,
you just got the sealed copy in Chicago.
Yeah, it's just there. It's like 8 songs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 8 songs. And 2 of those are Yoko, so he's only singing, on 6 of them.
Nice quote here from Sean. I was completely floored putting this collection together and getting to remix the concerts and hearing all the unreleased material from my parents' archive for the first time. It's amazing. The guy's 50 years old and he's still hearing stuff for the first time. Great quote here for the concerts. Paul Hicks and Simon Hilton and I spent a lot of time finding the best possible balance to keep the feeling of a live show while refining the overall sound as much as possible. And Sam Gannon did some meticulous and miraculous work with audio restoration. I won't disclose all our techniques, but there was some movie magic required. In the end, I think the shows sound better than ever. And if you've seen the film and you watch Come Together, that's going to be the case.
Yeah, and that press release was included in the EP, the Record Store Day EP.
Right.
Or the one I got was anyway.
Yep.
By the way, that price of... is it $240? Is it
$240? Yeah.
Does that include tax, or is that tax on top of that?
No, tax on top of that.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Tax, and then that includes the tax. Shipping is added out.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Now, we'll get to the CD breakdown as we go through. They have both concerts available afternoon and evening, but now they've also got a disc presented as a hybrid, giving you the best of the afternoon and the evening. What do you think about that, Tone?
Well, it's an interesting concept, especially for the 2 LP thing, because that's all you're getting is the best of the two shows. But you would think, with the CD. It's interesting because you're getting both the shows and then you're getting the hybrid. So the stuff that's included in the hybrid you're getting twice, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. Maybe a little bit of overkill there. I don't know. I don't know what people. I don't know what people will think of that. But I've seen a lot of negative feedback. On my channel, which worries me a bit because people, a lot of people are dipping out, and it makes me wonder whether if this doesn't do very well, whether they'll carry on doing them.
Oh, God, I would hope so. As we've said many times, John Lennon's discography as a solo artist is so limited that every album needs this treatment to reappraise and reassess and share this music with everybody so they can hear it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Here's this little bit about the film now, which was very, very interesting, which gave us a little cookie about what's coming. Excerpts from the concerts. As you know, we're in the 1-to-1 film directed by Kevin McDonald. And now we'll be streaming on HBO Max here in America later this fall. I don't know what that means for you guys in the UK, sadly.
No, but I'm sure there'll be a platform for it to be in the UK, although there isn't always. I mean, we still haven't seen Daytime Revolution here, or I haven't seen it anyway.
I can't believe that.
But we have seen this. We've seen it in the cinema. But we know that there'll be a release of that next year.
Yeah, and here you are. The films of the remixed, restored, and re-edited concerts are due for release from Mercury Studios next year. Branded as Power to the People, directed by Simon Hilton, and produced by Peter Worsley, and edited by Ben Wainwright Pierce. So you've got the concerts coming out too. So this is the whole kid and caboodle. Okay, so now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, what we all want to talk about. What's in the actual box, the bonus tracks, what's actually listed here. So we've got the Ultimate Mixes, we've got the Evolution documentaries, and the Elements mixes and Studio Jam. Let's get to the track listing and go for it. And the live jam, as we talked about, from '69. And you've got we've got a ton of home demos on this too, which is
really
cool.
So I think it's important to make the distinction between. So the first 3 discs,
yes,
are the 1-to-1 concert.
Yes.
Right? Other stuff is to do with Sometime in New York City. I think you've got two discs two discs of that, plus the Evolution documentaries. Right. They're all the progression of each of the songs on Sometime in New York City. You've got 4 tracks that are Elements on CD 6. The Elements mixes. Now that's a departure, because before in the last 2 boxes we got Element mixes for everything,
and now we don't have that.
And now we only have 4 track. There they are. There,
Sisters Oh Sisters, Born in Prison, Lucky the Irish, and Angela. So you only got 4 Elements mixes here. So it's gone back to, Tony, what you said earlier, right?
Yeah, that's like when they did the Imagine box, they didn't do an Elements mix for everything, or if I think they did a few on the. If I'm trying to remember, they did a few on the CD. But there were some extra ones that were Blu-ray only, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. You've got, CD 4 is going to be basically Sometime in New York City. But
all they've done is they've moved New York City to track 1 from being track 5.
And other than that, the sequencing is pretty much the same. They've just put New York City to start it. And the Evolution documentaries follow the same. Just going back to the concerts, something we talked about before we went on the air. This track, Law and Order, that is on the concert. Anybody out there in the comments, let us know. Is that a Yoko song? I mean, what is that?
I don't know what that is.
We did not know what that was. And as Tony also smartly mentioned, the crosses next to the track denote that they have not been released before. But you don't know that until you get to the rest of the bottom of the listing.
Yeah, yeah.
Studio jams. Okay, so this is with the John jamming with Elephant's Memory, going through everything, getting ready for the concert. And then here's the stuff from the Lyceum Ballroom, going back to with Delaney and Bonnie and George and all that. With Cold
Yeah,
Turkey.
so that's the live jam, you know, LP2 from the box set.
Yeah. And then CD8 is more the live jam with this is the stuff with David Peel at the John Sinclair Freedom Rally in Ann Arbor. So then you've got some live tracks as well. And then
so these are from all the benefits that they did in 1972.
Right. The Apollo, and then the David Frost show, and then the Jerry Lewis telethon. And then you get to what I think a lot of Lennon fans are really curious to bite the apple on, and that's the home jams. On
I mean, there's loads of these, isn't there?
33 home demos, and they're all dated, recorded at the St. Regis Hotel in September of '71, and then a couple of demos recorded at Ann Arbor when they probably were there getting ready for that show. So that's it. Yeah, that's the chock full of stuff. Chock full of stuff in there. So
we've got one track missing, but we've got about I don't know 90 unreleased tracks or something like that. Yeah. So I understand why people are annoyed about the revision of history.
Yeah.
And the song being left out, but this is the world that we live in now, and it's a very different world. And people saying, I've heard people say, well, John Lennon would not approve of this. Well, we don't really know that. John Lennon in 1972 wouldn't have approved of it, but we don't know what John Lennon, the 85-year-old would think living in today's world. If anyone knows that better than anyone else, it's probably Sean or Yoko.
Yeah.
But we don't know who's made this decision, and I think we need. I don't know if it'll ever be possible to find out who made this decision. But people were very quick to blame Sean, and it might not be his decision. It could be UMG's decision. But there's a lot of hypocrisy with this. I understand you can't use that word, even though it's not being used as racist in a racist way. But then on the other hand, you've got rappers that are using this word all the time, and worse, and there's no blockage on those things being released. It's a very funny situation, I think. You can even go back to 2015. The signature box comes out on vinyl.
Yep.
It's in there. Sometime in New York City is in that box, as was. Nothing taken away, nothing added. And that word isn't any more offensive today than it was then. It's only 10 years ago. That word has always been offensive.
Yes.
So it doesn't really make sense to me. It does. In some ways, it does make sense. In some ways, it doesn't, because there are, there's ebb and flow. There's ebb and flow there between what's gone before and what is today. Even though what's gone before is not that long ago.
It's not, but let's just have a quick look at the vinyl edition there. There's the 2 LP
very nice
edition. And as Tony taught, I didn't see it till before, but really the vinyl configurations of this set are only the concert. You cannot get the ultimate mixes of New York City.
Yeah.
Or sometime in New York City is not available. So that is a miss with this, I must say. So if you're going for any vinyl, and there's a 4 LP, which Tony said he got, and now there's this 2 LP, which is, I believe, the hybrid. So it's going to be interesting.
That's what I mean by this is a different type of ultimate mixes than what we've had before, because it's not album centric. It's a kind of a
yes.
It's kind of year centric. It's year centric, and they could have, they probably could have given us, raw studio mixes or outtakes or stuff like that, and expanded it to 10, 11 discs.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff included in this box, stuff that hasn't been heard before, and that's got a value. It
does, and that's why I pulled the trigger on it today. The Hand could not join us today, but if you're looking for his take on this, we will be recording a new episode on Saturday that will drop next week. Post fest, post everything, we'll be recording a new episode. So before we kick into our topic proper, we will get the Hand's take on all this stuff, what he thinks about it, where does he fall on that question about should it be included, should it not be included? Because I know a lot of you out there wanted to hear Kyle's take on this, and we are sorry he couldn't join us today, and he sends his apologies. But you will hear from him at the start of our next show on this for certain. So let us know in the comments what you have ordered so far. Have you gone for the 9 CD? Are you only going to go streaming on this? A lot of people said, I might just stick for streaming for this. But, the Lennon camp generally knows how to give value for dollar, and they really they really do.
I think they've got the price point about right, actually, because we now live in a 30 quid LP world. That's how much LPs cost. And if you look at the 4 LP box set, four LPs at 30 quid each would be £120, and they're charging 125, but you've got all that swag in there as well. So it's about right. It's the same with the 2 LP. That would be 60. They're charging 55 for that. So it's around the norm. I would say they've probably got it about right, I think.
Yeah, given inflation and everything else in 2025, but it'll make for a nice autumn. That one is going to be fairly busy and expensive now with now this dropping, and we know there's going to be some Beatle product announced, and we know that good old Macca is on tour, so it'll be another Beatles-centric fall, and the Lennon camp never disappoints with tying in releases with John's birthday, for years now. So this is, there's only a few albums left that can get this treatment. You've got Walls and Bridges, you've got Rock and Roll, you've got Double Fantasy, and Milk and Honey, and that's really
which will be one box, won't it? Because it's the same session.
It will. So I would love that Sean and the team take their time and the feedback and see how everything pans out, but treat these releases with the care that they have. And listen, the work proves for itself. These have been fantastic releases through and through, sonically and presentation wise and everything. So he will round out his father's campaign, I am sure, in style. So Sean, thanks for that. So for Beatley Tone, this is Andy Nichols for Hands Across the Water. Tone, we'll see you in a couple days.
We will. Look forward to it.
All right, and let us know in the comments all your thoughts on this, the offending song, the versions you're going for. Are you skipping it? Are you going for it? Do let us know in the comments, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And we'll see you next time. So take care, everybody.
See you, everyone.